Good morning, Alta Realty Group agents. This is Kevin Lauren. I'm the Director of Training and Marketing here. And today we're going to go through our ARG Blueprint for Success. We're also joined by Bill Seitz. Let's see if we can bring Bill on the line. Good morning, Bill.
Good morning, Kevin. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Oh, good. My little hotspot's working this morning.
All right, perfect. Not bad, not bad. So, Bill, why don't you take us through the mortgage world today? I'll pull up your 10-year treasury.
Yeah, perfect. Good morning, everybody. Hope everyone's having a good week and everyone's got their coffee and their drink of choice to sit down and have 30 minutes with us. I think it's going to be a good webinar. I know Kevin's got some good topics to cover with that blueprint for success. I always like to refresh myself with it, so that's going to be nice. Real quick, I just wanted to review interest rates as we usually do here on the Wednesday webinar. Kev, if you could just scroll up.
Yeah.
I think we're on just the yearly one there.
Yeah.
Just scroll to the top.
Oops.
Yeah, I think you're on a different. That's all right.
Yeah, I'm on a different one today.
It's okay. I already looked at it this morning. So interest rates actually got a little bit better this morning. They've come down about 5 basis points, or at least the 10-year Treasury's come down about 5 basis points. Okay. And in the last couple of weeks, it had actually been trending up. I know probably about a month ago, I had talked about how much interest rates had come down since end of last year. They've since come up about 20 basis points, and they've kind of pulled back a little bit actually this morning. So that's a good sign. These things usually, as they start trending, they usually trend up in either direction for at least a few days. And it's really interesting to watch, and also very frustrating if you are trying to time the market with a refinance. But anyways, rates are still pretty good for everyone out there that's working with buyers. So that's kind of the market update there. I want to thank everybody who has been using Clearview Mortgage with their buyers and refinancing needs. It's really important for us as an organization to support both sides of the business. I know Bruce Dott, who has joined our team, has been reaching out to a few of you agents in the last few days. So really appreciate you guys being and welcoming Bruce to the team and taking his call. So Bruce brings a wealth of knowledge to the organization, has been in the mortgage business for a long time. So thank you, Bruce, for doing that. On another note, I'm actually currently out in the Coachella Palm Desert area this morning, and we're having a meet and greet for some of our new agents and our existing awesome agents. And it's going to be a great time. Really looking forward to meeting some of you. I think some of our attendees are probably on the webinar this morning. So Scott and Elaine and Lois and Dolores and so on and so on. Debbie, of course, our team leader out here. So really going to be exciting afternoon. Look forward to meeting you all and having a happy hour moment with you guys. So that'll be fun. And we're looking to do that. I think what we'll try to do as well as we kind of move through the years, we'll try to get up to the different regions and try to do something like this for all the different geographic areas that we really kind of share in California. And it's a good way to connect, good way to meet other people in the organization, and just to sit back and have some fun.
Yeah, we got to do that every once in a while, right, Bill?
if we're not, we're not doing a good job. Excuse me, my voice is a little bit weird this morning.
That desert, boy.
Yeah, dry heat.
Right.
Lastly, Bruce, who I just mentioned, has a new investor that I'm looking at. I think he sent me over the contact and the investor package, so I'm going to review that next week. It's a really aggressive investor that works with basically clients that are kind of credit challenged, clients that we all know and have that are in, like credit scores in the high fives, sometimes in the low to mid fives even. So I think that we don't really, even though most of the profile of our borrowers that we're doing loans for currently don't fall into that category, I think we all know there's people that we could sell homes to that are probably credit challenged. So I think it'll be good to have that investor come on board. So that is on my to-do list. And I do apologize for not having the FHA presentation today. It's been a very, very busy week. And I promise I'll kind of highlight some things next week for those who don't need a little bit of just an outline of what an FHA loan is and all the different particulars about it. So I think that'll be good just to refresh everybody and spend two or 3 minutes on that. So that's it for me, Kevin. I'm looking forward to listening to you on this blueprint for success. I think this really crosses over to our loan officers that are on the call as well as the realtors. I think that you can take a lot of what you're saying and apply it to either side of your business. So if we're a loan officer on the call and we're listening now to the back end of this webinar, there's some very important things that I think that we all need to recognize that Kevin will cover. And I know I do. I love getting reminded and refreshed because we can't remember everything. We can't do everything on the first time. And so anyways, take it away, Kevin. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Bill. Appreciate it. And also I'd like to welcome Travis Breton to the call. Good morning, Travis.
Good morning, Kevin. How you doing?
Doing fantastic. And Travis, for those of you who don't know him, he is our corporate broker with ARG. So Travis, always good to have you on the call. So today we're going to go through the Blueprint for Success. So the ARG Blueprint for Success is one of the kind of cornerstones of the ARG experience. So the ARG experience is definitely, we want to provide our agents with as much information and as much support as possible so you guys can be successful. So the ARG Blueprint for Success is really, as Bill said, it is a business plan. And so it doesn't really matter if you're selling properties or you're selling loans, it really does cross over. So with any business, you definitely have to start with setting goals and you have to start with a plan. And so the ARG Blueprint for Success is a guiding point. It's a blueprint for your marketing plan and for getting organized. So obviously the first, or maybe it's not obvious, but the first thing that you've got to do is you've got to set goals and you've got to figure out how much you've got to, live off of and what you're going to do. And so this is the very first thing that you've got to do is to calculate your target income. So this little graphic shows, if your target gross income is $100,000 and your average gross commission is $12,500, well, we're going to have to close about 8 deals in order to get there. So it's just a very simple math problem, but you've got to start with where are we going to go? How are we going to get there, right? So Travis, I know that you are, you're a very organized guy. So when you are starting a business, what would you do? Is this where you would start?
That's definitely where I would start because you need to, look at your profit margin or potential profit margin. And, setting the goal is obviously, I think the most important thing, your target goal. And then, what your marketing spend is going to be to help you get there. And Absolutely. To make sure you have enough, I like to do it in 6-month increments. Basically, if I can't pay for something for the next 6 months or 6 months up front, then I probably shouldn't be buying that product or that marketing item. So that's kind of how I look at things. I go in 6-month increments. Yeah. When it comes to spending.
That's a really good way to look at it because with all of the things that we're doing with regard to, buying leads and, working our sphere of influence and doing all those different things, we really have to be careful on, what we're spending. And so this is a really, really good kind of exercise as well, is to figure, okay, how many leads am I going to get? First of all, what am I going to spend my money on? And I think all of you probably by now know that I'm a big proponent of Facebook and Instagram advertising. So where are you going to put your money? Very, very important. And so we kind of, a 2% conversion rate is, kind of an average conservative. And I like our little graphic here. You can do better than that, right? So 2% conversion rate, it's just a good base and a starting point. So if you figure that you are going to have a 2% conversion rate and you need 8 deals, well, we work it backwards and we're going to need about 400 leads in order to do that. So, and that's pretty, this is very rudimentary. This is we're just trying to take a look at, where a good starting point would be, right? So with that said, that leads us to our marketing budget. And so how much are we going to spend? How much do we need to spend in order to get those 400 leads? Well, we all know the lead game. You can buy leads on Trulia and Redfin and, all different kinds of places. Well, you got to be smart about it and pick your spots where you're going to set your marketing budget. But also part of marketing budget needs to be things like your client welcome kits and your client appreciation parties and those other things. So your budget is not just how much you're going to spend on, leads. So Travis, I know we talk a lot about other things that we need to spend money on, and all of it needs to be calculated into your ROI, right?
Definitely. And some things that some people forget about is, if let's say you're targeting an audience to generate listings and you're spending all of your budget on the marketing portion, well, don't forget that there's, things that you need to do for the listing as well. And you're going to need a sign.
Yeah.
You're going to need, well, you should have professional photos, things like that. So, each listing has a little budget in itself too. So you definitely want to leave, a little pad for growth in that 6 months as far as what you're going to need to promote whatever it is you're targeting, whether it's buyers or sellers.
For sure.
Buyers obviously are a little cheaper, but you don't have to buy signs and things like that. But you should leave a little pad for sure.
Yeah. So really, really important, set the budget because this is a business, dollars in, dollars out. You got to keep track of absolutely everything. And that's something that we'll get into in a second is, metrics, but really important, and it's just business 101 stuff, but it's a good thing to revisit this stuff, even though, I know a lot of the agents on the line, they know this stuff, they've got a good business plan in place, but it's a really good idea to just take a look again and just figure out, okay, yeah, maybe I don't have as clear of a plan as I should. So this is a good exercise for everybody. So the second part of the blueprint for success is to identify your market. So, when you're doing marketing, you have to decide, am I going to stick to one tiny geographical area in a farm? One of the anecdotes that Travis talks about is a guy that works in where was it, Travis, in the Newport Heights area or something like that?
He's over in Norco.
Okay, so he only markets to one tiny little farm, right? And so you got to identify your market. Are you going to do all of Irvine? Are you going to do a small part of Irvine? What are you going to be marketing for, right? So really important to identify your target market, right?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And even if you don't have anything going on, maybe you don't have any buyers, maybe, you don't have a listing that you can market. There's lots of ways that you can generate excitement or business from just things going on in the area. And that's something we can cover on another webinar or, with a phone call. But yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So pick that target audience, you want to make sure. And another part of that is, you kind of want to figure out your demographics of the area that you pick. So if your area is a lot of older people, well, your target and your communication and your messaging has to be towards that kind of, an older community. If your area is hip and young and, a lot of millennial buyers, well, your marketing has to reflect that. So, that goes to step one or step two as well. Know your locality and become the expert in your area. And so that way, when people have questions about growth in your area and, the city plans, you are the expert. And so, our recruiter, Tim Mano, is always a proponent of going down to the local planners. Go meet with the city planners. Go down to, the city hall. Talk to the people. Figure out what's going on in your community. They're happy to help you. They're happy to talk to you. So know your locality. Know your market. And then start quantifying the market. Really good idea is to make sure that is there enough sales in that area? Is there enough, volume? Is it too small of a market, right? So you want to really identify what is your, can you make enough money out of this market? Do I have to expand? Right, Travis?
Yeah, and that's, definitely if you're trying to break into something or into an area or trying to get some leads going quickly, definitely look at the sales stats. I know in my area, I live kind of coastal, and it's pretty cutthroat here as far as the agent count here. There's a lot of agents living in the area, marketing the area, and actually the sales, there's not a lot of volume where I am. But if I go a little bit inland to some of the inland cities, which is really anywhere from 10 to 20 minutes from me, the volume of sales is much higher, meaning there's more turnover with property. So marketing dollars go a little further in those areas, and it's still close enough for me to take some sales while I'm still farming my own area.
Great point, Travis. Really great point. So occasionally you're going to have to get outside of your immediate area just to, get some extra business and to make sure that you're, doing enough deals. So the third part of the ARG Blueprint for Success is to implement the marketing strategies that you decided on. So you've created your goals, you've kind of identified your market. Now we have to create the strategies for getting their leads, right? And so direct mail, it's definitely not dead. It absolutely, especially when you're working in a small geographical area, direct mail is awesome still. Hand writing direct mail or handwriting the the address and that kind of stuff really helps people still open that stuff. Cold calling, absolutely not a bad thing. People don't like to do it. It's hard. You got to do a lot of calling, but it's not a bad way to drum up business. So don't say no to cold calling. Email marketing, absolutely. Email marketing is, most of you that have been on these trainings know that I'm a giant proponent of email marketing. It's been something that's worked well in my business for 25 years. So that's something that I preach to all of the realtors. So our agent marketing system does come with an amazing email marketing tool. You can, obviously send email drip campaigns and email communications to your prospects. Makes it very, very effective. You're staying top of mind. So really, really, really important to do email marketing. And then social media. I'm also a giant proponent of doing social media marketing, all different kinds of marketing, creating that omnipresence and making sure that, people in your area and even other, professionals know you're there. They know who you are because they see you on social media. So that's really, really important. Video and photography marketing, massive. And, guys, that I have individual trainings on each of these things. So don't hesitate to go back through the ARG resource center and make sure that you check out the training videos. You can also go to our YouTube channel. And our YouTube channel, I think, is up to something like 70 training videos. So tons and tons of individual trainings on things like social media and video and photography marketing. So we won't get into that too in depth. Paid leads. Yeah, paid leads are great. You can do stuff on Google AdWords. You can do Facebook and Instagram marketing, which I definitely, if you're not doing it, you need to be doing it. It's the most cost-effective way to do marketing for real estate. Wouldn't you agree, Travis?
It's definitely the most cost-effective. And the paid leads are great because you get instant gratification for dollars spent, So,
right.
If you're looking at something bigger like Zillow, Realtor.com, I mean, it's going to cost you about a third of what you're going to make on the deal. So that's just kind of what it seems to. They're expensive leads. They're good, high quality leads typically, but they're expensive.
Yeah.
You have to set your budget high on those ones.
Yep. And that, and so starting out when you're not doing that many deals, coming out of the gates and spending several $1,000s a month on those kind of leads, I don't recommend it. If you're already raging, you're doing great business, and you can afford to put some of that money back. And by the way, on the ARG commission program, you get to keep the vast majority of your commission. So it makes sense for you guys to be putting money back into marketing. But it really doesn't make sense to just spend thousands and thousands of dollars right out of the gate. So you can ramp it up and, spend, and like Travis said, in 6-month increments, decide what you're going to do for the next 6 months, stick to it, don't waver, and make it happen. So really, really important. Paid leads are really, really important. Inbound referrals, well, heck, that's the best thing that, referrals are absolutely the best thing. All of you know that I have tons of training on how to work the referrals, how to work your sphere of influence. So that is in itself a massive, massive source of business. I think referrals, we're up, I think the stat is 46% of deals on average come from referral. So really, really important. So the fourth part of the ARG Blueprint for Success is to measure the results and get metrics. So to become a true professional, you want to be measuring these results. You want to be, gauging what you're spending your money on, getting the ROI, your return on investment, or your return on, the money that you're spending. You want to know all these things. So it's really, really important to get the metrics of your business down. So metrics of your business are things like, segment your strategies, right? Record everything, refine and optimize. So, once you've recorded this, and the numbers, they speak volumes. So it's, the numbers, they're looking back at you all the time. And when you are forced to look at those numbers, you make better decisions. And so it's so key to review and to, make sure that you are understanding the dollars that were spent and what you got for that. And that way you can, gauge exactly what you should do in the future. Wouldn't you say that that would be probably one of the most important parts, Travis?
Yeah, definitely.
It's just, we can't really, stress enough how important that is, to make sure that you know exactly what you're doing in your business. And it's just, again, business 101. You've got to know the dollars coming in, dollars going out, and you've got to be able to, make sure that all of the dollars that you're spending, exactly what you got back for that, right?
Yep.
So with that said, that is basically the conclusion of our presentation today. However, we do have a chat feature. And so I would love for people to ask more questions in our trainings. And, we can even bring people on, and if you have a microphone, we can even, bring you on, and you can ask a question. So, don't hesitate to raise your hand or to, put something in the chat, because we really want to make these webinars interactive, and we want to be able to answer the questions that you guys have.
Hey, Kevin.
Yes, sir.
Real quick, I took some notes here while you're going through this with Travis. Not without sounding too much like Tony Robbins, but I think the goal thing is really important. I think that if we're all honest with ourselves, we probably realize that we could define our goals a little better. And I found that in the power of intention, what you set your mind to accomplish, or what you're trying to get out of your career, or you're trying to set some goals, or you're trying to become better at something, I have found that it happens. If you project what you're trying to do, and you think about it, and you're spending diligent time doing these things, these goals will come to fruition. They will manifest in themselves. And I'm a firm believer in that. So I think that's important, to believe in yourself and believe in your goals. Also, in identifying your market, just for the loan officers on this call, I want just, you could focus on FHA loans. You could focus on VA loans. You could focus on, a jumbo market. It really applies to the same type of thing. There's a lot of crossover there, so it doesn't have to be home sales if you're on this call and you're a Clearview mortgage loan officer. And then lastly, I think that one thing that I'm a big proponent of is you can sponsor a local team. So my kids are of the age where, and a lot of us have kids that are in the, late elementary school or elementary school age. I have been, done a lot of coaching. I've coached soccer teams, t-ball teams, little league teams. I've coached surfing here locally in the community, and I'm involved with the Newport Beach Board Riders as well. I've really been able to meet a lot of families and a lot of different kids, and what that translates to is, as Kevin talked about, referrals. It talks to people, find out what you do for a living. It happens naturally. It's not a forced thing. And once you get to know these families and you know where they live and you start talking and you go get, slice of pizza with your kids, it just naturally happens. But being involved with a local team, sponsoring a local team, if you don't have kids, is always a good idea, because you're going to get all the families' addresses, all the families' phone numbers, and you're going to get to meet them one-on-one as well as they, go through their season. So I just a couple little notes that I took there through that blueprint that I think can add some value.
Oh, for sure. No, I really appreciate that, Bill. And you're absolutely right. So being part of the community and, getting out there, that's such a huge part of the ARG Blueprint for Success is, really, being a community guy or a community person. So really good point there, Bill. And then the other thing is this, again, is just a blueprint. This is just a good way for you to get your thinking straight and to get, like Bill said, when you start to build, you start to set goals and you are looking for a specific amount of deals and you do manifest it, so if you start with that mindset, you're going to be way ahead of the curve. And it's just like also, positivity begets positivity, so, if you're negative all the time, you're going to bring more negativity. If you're positive all the time, you're going to bring more positive, right? So same thing in business. If you're setting those goals, if you have a, something to reach for, you're going to get there, and you're going to be, checking the metrics and figuring out, okay, I didn't get there. Well, what do I got to do? And so the blueprint for success is just a really good starting point for everyone. And so everybody on the call, I'd like for you guys to just, send me an email, a quick email to say, yes, I want the blueprint, and I will email a copy of this PDF to everybody that wants it. It's also available in the ARG Resource Center, but sometimes it's nice to just get an email and I'll send it directly to you guys. So Bill, thank you for your insight. Appreciate that. And Travis, always thank you for your insight and your expertise in this area. So guys, get out there, make it a great week and a productive week. And we'll see you next week on the Wednesday webinar. Have a great day, guys.